What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down the secret to getting faster and how you guys can improve your speed. So I hope this video helps you guys out. Hope it could teach you a few new things. But also, fellas, if you are a wide receiver in this offseason, you struggle with knowing what to do in the gym to improve your wide receiver position-specific skills. Check out that very first link in the description below for our 16-week wide receiver gym workout plan. It's a 4-month daily schedule where we give you the exact exercises to follow with sets, reps, and examples of each one to do on a day-to-day basis. Give you rest days, conditioning days, lifting days, the works, all wide receiver position specific. So check out that very first link in the description below if you're interested, fellas. Let's get started with this video. So now we're going to be looking at this route here from CeeDee Lamb. Now, this is a very explosive route. So how we're going to play this thing is we're going to talk about this route, talk about the speed that is required to run this route, and then I'm going to show you guys some examples of some gym exercises and some realistic gym exercises that you can do that will directly translate to your speed. A lot of people think that speed is just about running a bunch of sprints. There are a lot of things that you can do outside of running mechanics and running form that can help your speed improve, especially if you're a wide receiver. So let's watch this route from Lamb. He's got a very explosive get off the ball. He's got explosive cuts on the route. He's making sharp cuts on the route. So what are some of the things that causes him to do that mechanically, right? So off the line, when you guys are trying to come off the ball, and let's say you're running a comeback, you're running this like post dig that he runs, we cannot have a false step with my front foot. That is one of the main reasons that wide receivers will lose speed off of the line. They'll take a false step, right? So what you got to do is when you're in your stance, you want to have maybe about 65 to 70% of your weight onto your front foot. What I tell my wide receivers is you want to try to get the knee to the middle part of your front foot. Now, Lamb's shin is kind of like straight up. I would be okay if you had a little bit of a forward lean just to prevent that step from false stepping and stepping back. So he's got this explosive get off. But you see, obviously, when he gets off the ball, he explodes out with his first step. Now, that is something that you can directly work on in the gym to help you get a faster get off the ball, get a faster first step, and honestly, to get you faster in and out of cuts, right? So what are some of the things that can work on that first step? And that's a gym exercise that I'm going to show you right now. So we look at this example here of this player. This is a football player, and he's working out in the gym. So he's got this band wrapped around his leg. He's standing onto a box, and he's going to be doing step-ups, band-resistant step-ups. Now, watch what he does. He's snatching the knee up almost like he's going into like a running form position, right? Snatches the knee up and is trying to explode off of that leg. That is very similar to the motion that CeeDee Lamb has to do off the line. So doing these types of exercises in the gym that build your fast twitch fibers and you're doing game realistic type movements that you're going to actually have to apply is what you should be doing as a wide receiver in the offseason. So many guys, wide receivers, not just wide receivers, I'm talking football players in general. They lift wrong in the offseason, right? Playing football, it's a very fast twitch game. Every single snap, like let's say you're an offensive player, lineman, running back, quarterback, wide receiver, even if you run a no-huddle offense, every single play is an all-out effort play. Right? Like there's no plays off. Everybody talks about that. But even if you're running a no huddle, you're going to get maybe 15, 10 seconds in between plays to get yourself together, get your breath, and then we have to be able to explode again. It is not soccer. So wide receivers, players, quarterbacks, linemen who, do a lot of like high rep stuff where you're not focused on explosion. You're just doing the reps. You run a lot of distance. You're not working on explosion. That's not going to directly translate to your game. Doing exercises like this is what's going to directly translate to your game. So no weights. He doesn't even need weights. He just needs a box. You can do this on your back porch. You can do this on a step that you have. You can do this on like a weight bench, however you want to think of it. But this is a very simple exercise to do. He's focusing on exploding, and the band serves as resistance on this movement. So that is what will directly translate to your get off the ball. He's in the same position. He's got to keep this leg up. He's got to stay sturdy with this leg, just like he's standing on the box, and he has to explode with his back leg. Those exercises are great for you guys, fellas, to work on that explosion off of the ball. So doing anything off of one leg where you have to explode is great for that. So now, just in speed in general, too, fellas, is all about quick twitch. It's all about developing your fast twitch fibers, right? That's what, at the end of the day, that's what it's about. Now, you can do a lot of things to work on your speed. You could run with sleds. You could run up hills. You can stretch. You could have a speed coach working on your running form for sure. But there are always other things that we can do. And in the gym is something that so many athletes neglect that you cannot neglect. You have to train like football players. We cannot train like bodybuilders. Because a lot of people just go into the gym and they lift like a bodybuilder. They're doing 3 sets of 10 on bench. They're doing chest flies. They're doing curls. Like, I get it. You know what? The exercise, you're trying to look good. I get it. I understand. But are we trying to look good for a girl, or are we trying to play football? You know what I mean? And we're trying to play football. We're trying to be the best possible player on the field, the most explosive possible player on the field. Now, I say this, and now you look at guys like CeeDee Lamb, right? He's already developed. He's developed, grown man in the NFL, good-sized guy, getting ready for the draft in this specific situation, but he's already got the size, right? If you're a high school kid and you need to put on weight, yeah, maybe you need to do those types of exercises like bench, like squats, to put on some muscle mass, right? To be able to put on size. But I'm going to tell you this right now. If you're super concerned about putting on size as a wide receiver, number one, we got to make sure that we keep a low body fat percentage. Because if you put on a ton of weight and you have a high body fat percentage, you're going to slow down. That's everybody's biggest fear. Number two, you have to understand that when you get to college, and anybody that has ever played college football will tell you this, and believe me, it works what they do there, they will put weight on you. When you get to college, like look at Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter is a perfect example. 165 pounds at least, right? At least 165 pounds. So when he got to Jackson State, I guarantee you number one priority was to put 20 pounds on him. They're going to put weight on you. You have to be the best possible football player. Yes, still try to gain weight. Yes, still try to be big, but you have to be the best possible football player to even get into the door. So now let's talk about the next part of speed on this. So on this specific route, Lamb makes these two explosive cuts, right? So when he makes a cut, and this is where so many guys struggle, because we talk a lot about running routes. You got to run full speed. You have to cut on a dime. You got to be able to cut off of 1 foot. You can't take choppy steps and slow down. But this right here, this specific cut requires a lot of strength and a lot of explosion to be able to get some speed off of that cut. I'm confident that every wide receiver can run full speed and try to cut. But does that necessarily mean that their knee will hold up? Does that necessarily mean that they'll have balance at this type of break? So same idea. You have to make sure that you are doing specific exercises that help you with that one leg explosion and that one leg stability. So this is just an example of that. So it's the same player that we were looking at the last time. He's sitting on the box now holding a medicine ball. You don't even have to do this holding a medicine ball. His foot's slightly off the ground, but watch what he does here. He steps and he explodes off of one leg. That is very similar to the explosion that you need. The only difference is that he's jumping up instead of jumping out. And you probably could do this jumping out. But when he lands, he explodes. Similar to how you have to explode off of one leg when you're making a cut. Let's say I'm running a post. Let's say I'm running a corner. I have to cut off of one leg, and I have to be able to explode off that one leg to generate speed and to generate explosion out of there. Very similar to this type of drill. So if you guys are doing exercises like where you're jumping off of one leg onto a box. You're doing this type of exercise where you stand up and as soon as you hit the ground, you explode. Maybe you got two cones lined up next to each other and you're jumping side to side trying to explode off of 1 foot. All those things that help with that one leg explosion, fellas, will get you faster and will get you more speed out of your cuts. Because if you're a wide receiver, because that's what I know most of you guys are who's watching this video, trust me when I say this, that one leg explosion, that one leg speed is what will help you create separation. You can get open, but we got to be able to stay open. And doing things like this is what 100% will help. Now, these are two kind of more complex exercises, right? Or not so much complex, but more so advanced exercises. What are some of like the basic exercises? Like let's say you don't have that type of equipment. Let's say you just have a barbell. Let's say you just have a squat rack and a bar, dumbbells. What can you do to work on your explosiveness? And so this is an example of CeeDee Lamb lifting at Oklahoma. Now, this video was pulled from a particular clip. It was an interview with a lot of guys at Oklahoma, and they were talking about how CeeDee Lamb over the course of a year put on a ton of size. He looked like he filled out into his frame a little bit more, right? He was stronger. He was faster. Like he came back one off season, and he was a totally different player. And that was before his last year at Oklahoma when getting ready for the draft. So this is a clip of him working out. Now watch what he is doing here. He's going to be doing an exercise called hang cleans, right? I'm sure all of you have seen cleans before, power cleans, but he's doing a hang clean, right? So this hang clean, watch what he's doing. He's holding the bar and he is exploding from his hips. Very similar to how you have to explode up from your hips at the top of the route or off the line. Very similar to how you have to explode with your hips maybe when you're dropping your hips into a break. All of those things create speed. They create game speed, right? It's not just about running a fast 40 time. It's about being able to create game speed. Do I look fast with pads on? Do I look fast on film, right? And these types of exercises help with that. I know a lot of you guys are probably in a high school program, and I was this guy. We would do power cleans all the time, all kinds of Olympic lifts. And I was used to lifting like a bodybuilder, like trying to get a pump, doing curls, bench press, trying to look good. And then we're doing power cleans. I'm like, man, why are we doing this? Like, I can't even feel this exercise. But what I didn't realize is that it was helping me with explosion. It was helping me with stability. It was helping me with hip drive, power. All of those things directly translate to make you a better football player. Not just look better, we need to translate onto the football field. So this is just a simple exercise you could do. Hand cleans, power cleans. If you're a guy who doesn't have a lot of equipment, doesn't have boxes, medicine balls, I would try to look up Olympic lifts. Olympic lifts are one of the best things that you could do to strengthen yourself and give yourself more explosion to be a better overall football player. All right, fellas, really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. I know it was a different type of video today, but I hope you guys got some value out of this. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to leave those in the comment section below. And again, fellas, if you would like a 4-month wide receiver gym workout schedule with all of the things that wide receivers need to be doing on the field or to improve the things they should be doing on the field in the gym, check out that very first link in the description below. I'll see you guys next time.